welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Haley and you're watching Between the Pages. I have a book review for you today, and that is Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. I think I read this for Magical Readathon, I believe, or maybe it was just a one-off book. I don't remember. I think it may have been Magical Readathon. But yeah, this is a Why Choose Reverse Harem with Fae, which is also it is also a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So a lot going on there. So I feel like before we get into the review, we need to go over characters. Usually I don't do this. If you've watched some of my older reviews from like when I first started posting on YouTube, I would talk about characters, plot, and like chemistry. So we're not really going to follow that, but there's a lot of characters, so I feel like we need to have a rundown real quick before we get into the review, just so we can keep everybody straight and you know who I'm talking about, instead of me having to stop in the middle of a thought and explain to you who these characters are. So first we have Rosalina. She is our main character. She is the Belle stand-in for this book. I don't know if the other books are based on fairy tales or if it just continues the story in Bonded by Thorns, because there are four books right now, and then there's a spin-off that has two of the Fae princes that we're going to talk about, which is like their story and how they fell in love and got together prior to Rosalina. I don't remember if they call her Rose or Lena, so we're just gonna call her by her full name before she comes on the scene. So first we have Keldarian, who he is the Winter Prince, and all of these Fae princes live in a house, like a mansion, and each section of the house is divided into, like, for lack of a better term, like their court. I mean, they do have actual courts that we do get to see in the book, but Keldarian is the Winter Prince. He is basically the Beast stand-in for this book. He's the first one who like finds her and is like, well, you're gonna stay here and you're now our prisoner or our guest. Basically, like, it follows the same basic like thing of Beauty and the Beast, which we'll get to once we get to my review fangirly portion of my review. We'll get there. Farron is the Autumn Prince. And he's the one who's kind of like an unlikely like love interest, because she kind of hates him at first. So like more than Keldarian. Like Keldarian, she's just they're not really enemies to lovers, but they kind of have like that adversary relationship kind of. She's just kind of mad at Keldarian because he won't let her do things. But Farron is very much like enemies to lovers. And I like him. I think he's one of my favorite princes. And I probably could tell you why. He's very bookish. So, yeah, he helps her research and everything when we get into another aspect of the book. Ezrin is the Spring Prince, and he is in head-to-toe full armor. So think the Mandalorian. He's very much like, he can't take his helmet off. Like, no one has seen his face since he was like 7 or 8 years old. So he's very Mandalorian coded. But I do like him. He is very, very chivalrous, very knight-like. But yeah, she doesn't really have a relationship with Ezrin right now. It's very much like a friend relationship. Like, they haven't had anything like romantic really happen yet. So I'm curious to see how their relationship progresses. Then we have Dayton. He is the Summer Prince. He's one of my favorite characters. So Dayton and Farron are together, like together. And they have been together for quite a while before Rosalina, like I said, rolls up on the scene. So that's what I think book 5 is about. It's about Dayton and Farron's relationship. And I cannot wait for that book to come out because I really want to read about that. Then we have Caspian. Caspian is the Rhys stand-in for this book. We'll just leave it at that because he's like known as like the Prince of Thorns, and like he wields shadows and darkness, so basic Shadow Daddy aspect. But yeah, so now that we've covered the characters, now we can talk about plot. So like I said, this is very Beauty and the Beast coded. And, like, I kind of knew going in that it was based on Beauty and the Beast. So, like, her father is convinced that fairies have stolen his wife and have, like, taken her to fairy. We haven't met the mother yet. Like, I'm sure she comes into play later, but we haven't met her as of yet in where I am currently. So her father kind of stumbles across, like, through the brambles, which is, like, how you get to this fairy realm. And so he stumbles through the brambles, ends up in the mansion. I think he probably plucks a rose or a flower of some kind, so like Beauty and the Beast. And so they take him prisoner, and then Rosalina offers herself up in his stead, basically. It's like, take me instead, like, let him go. So basically her father is the Maurice, of the inventor from Beauty and the Beast. That's his character. So when she's thrown in the dungeon, like, it's not really a dungeon, it's more like a tower, so it's like Beauty and the Beast. She meets Farron, and he has a hard time controlling his beast, because in this book, the Fae can turn into wolves. So I forget, like, I want to say, like, Keldarian's is white and has, like, frost and stuff all over him because he's the Winter Prince. I think Dayton's has, like, seashells or, like, seaweed or something, like, growing in his fur. And Farron probably has, like, fungi and, like, mushrooms and acorns and, like, very fall-coated things in his fur. And I think Ezrin has, like, flowers or vines or something like that. So they all can transform into various wolves. So I like that. There's also fated mates and a mating bond, because that is what brings the four of them together, or five technically, because they have a curse upon them that they can't return to their various courts. They can return, like, every now and then, but they can't, like, go rule their courts without their mate, like, that they share. There's, like, some kind of prophecy. I don't remember what it is right now, but beside the point. We have a fated mates and mating bond trope in here. There's a library, of course, because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling with fae and shapeshifters and stuff like that. So yeah. So like I said, Farron is very bookish, and, like, that's kind of how him and Rosalina, like, develop a bond, like, outside the mating bond. I don't know if the bonds in here snap like the mating bond in Sarah J. Maas books. I don't remember. I don't think it's ever mentioned, but maybe I'll mention that in further books if it's ever stated. I don't think it is, but they bond over their love of literature and books and research and stuff like that. So that's why I like Farron, because he's very bookish and he's very smart and he's very charming. And yeah, I like Farron. I think he's my favorite one right now. Rosalina, Astrid, and Marigold have, like they exchange romance books, like, kind of like Emery, Nesta, and Gwen, the Valkyries from ACOTAR. And I just loved that. I mean, I don't know when this was published. I know it was a Fairy Loot book, like a Fairy Loot romantasy, which is kind of like how I found out about it, because Becca, from Becca in the Books, covered it in her romantasy rundown that she did on her channel, and I was like, that sounds really interesting, so that's kind of why I picked it up. I am so mad at the ending, because, like, Keldarian, like, takes her to, like, to the border between, like, the Fae world and the human world, and, like, she is about to kiss him, and he just, like, grabs her and throws her across the threshold. Because the thing about this Fae world is that, like, the doors are never in the same spot. So, like, if she were to go to that same spot that she got through, and Keldarian threw her back into the mortal world, that door might not necessarily be there. So I'm pretty sure in the second book, it's going to be her trying to find her way back into the Fae world. And I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I was like, no, you can't just end it like that. I have pre-ordered the second one. I don't remember the title. Again, I don't know these titles until I've read them. I will put it here. It comes out December 9th, and it is now November 18th. So I have about 3 weeks before it gets released, and I did order the deluxe edition, which they now have a deluxe edition of Bonded by Thorns. I won't be ordering it because it's literally the same book, just with like stenciled or sprayed edges. So yeah, I won't be ordering it, but I did order the sequel. So you best believe I'm going to read that soon because I need to know what happens. And then it's also mentioned that Caspian and Kaldarian have made a bargain, and like Caspian keeps like threatening Kaldarian with this bargain that they've made, and I'm like, but what is the bargain? What is the bargain? There's no hints, or if there is, I have not caught on to them yet. But yeah, I'm like, what is the bargain? I need to know what the bargain is because I'm getting tired of waiting. Like, I need to know, what did you bargain away? Like, what did you do, Kaldarian? Like, does your mate need to die or something? I don't know. So I guess we'll find out. So that was my rambly fangirly review of Bonded by Thorns, and I will see you guys later. Bye!